come from a very, very small place in Cape Breton where culture doesn't extend much further than, violin, Gaelic music, and pot. So that's pretty much the extent of it. So I didn't know anything about theater coming to King's. I knew nothing about art. I didn't know shit about anything, really. So when I got to King's, I was very excited about the KTS. I really wanted to be in something exciting and something different, something I'd never been involved with before. And I was cast my first term as a first-year student in probably one of the worst plays ever seen by the Four Corners of the Pit. It was an adaptation of Ayn Rand's The Fountainhead. Now, if you've ever read The Fountainhead and walked away from that book with the thought that there's no way this book could be adapted into a good play, you would be very correct, my friends. You're very correct about that.
Did anyone else not get the memo about it being semi-formal and wear a New Kids on the Block t-shirt to this event? With a blazer? Nobody else dressed as Gary Shandling tonight? Okay. It's fine, just me.
I did a lot of stuff in drama at King's, and if you want to see my marks, you can see how much I did. 8:30 classes. No, I didn't see very many of those.
But when Mike asked me to do it, he was like, well, you did a ton of KTS plays, right? Just do a monologue from one of those, and I didn't, as it turned out. I did Murat Sad, which I was not willing to strap on a corset for and stumble through again for your viewing confusion. And I was in a mostly improvised play called Too Much Light Makes the Baby Go Blind, which I can't do again because it was improvised. And I wrote a play in my first year, ill-advisedly titled The Blacks, the Gays, and the Jews. Choices we make in our teens, we regret in our 20s.
And then after that, we did Arcadia by Tom Stoppard, which is an amazing, beautiful, tragic, heartbreaking, and yeah, so we did that, and it was awesome. And I played Valentine, which I'm not going to do tonight. And so, Roberta also being a huge fan of this particular play, we are going to do the first part of the opening scene of Arcadia, and for this one, I'm going to wear a jacket. I forgot something. Talk amongst yourselves for half a second.
4 guys were in King's residence. I don't even think they were enrolled here. They were just in the residence. They couldn't get into Dow or something, and King's had rooms going. Yeah, sure, yes, we'll take you. Somebody off the street, come in. And these 4 guys happened to be from different parts of the United Kingdom. There was an Englishman, there was a Scotsman, an Irishman, and a Welshman. And they just clicked when they came here, and they just loved King's. They just thought it was a terrific place. And they wanted to give something back. So they got together and they put together a bunch of sketches and songs and so on, and it became known as the British Cabaret, and they put it on originally in the downstairs of Alec Hall, which used to be a rec room, but it's now divided up into a bunch of things. And then it was such a big hit that they did it again in the, yes, here's an ad for the British Cabaret, and these wonderful plaques that Michael and his crew have put together. Congratulations, the plaques are terrific.
We're actually going to play it down on the floor because there's a lot of agony and near-death experiences and things. So I apologize in advance if I kick anyone, including people whose papers I have to mark this week. I apologize.
Probably the most significant thing that happened for me in terms of the KTS was that in my first year of university, the KTS executive was willing to give up a night a month to myself and 2 friends of mine, Kyle Dooley and Mark Little, and let us hang out in the pit and or KTS lecture hall and screw around improvising and doing sketches and whatever we sort of felt like. And a year later we moved to Ginger's Tavern, and we moved from there, and etc. And this year we'll be putting on our first season of our TV show on the Comedy Network in September. Thank you. none of my professors in the room, because I never took a class with Roberta Barker, but if you could tell Neil Robertson and everybody else that that is happening and that I didn't hand in all of those papers for that reason, that'd be huge.
My second term, I went out and auditioned, and Roberta Barker, who was a third-year student at the time, and Shannon Brownlee, who's also a faculty member at Dalhousie, cast me as the lead in the musical. And I was so excited. You have no idea. And I knew nothing about the show. It was The Beggar's Opera by John Gay. And I knew nothing about it. But I called home. I was all excited. I was giddy. I had the script in my hand. And I called home and I said, Mom, I'm in the lead in the musical. And she said, wow, that's awesome. We're going to bring everyone. They're all going to come see it. What's it about? And I said, who gives a shit what it's about? It's the musical, I'm the lead, and I'm going to be sexy, and I'm going to be a hero. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. And my folks are pretty conservative, and I come from a pretty conservative place, so it's like, oh, musical, it's going to be great, like Annie or Brigadoon or something like that. So then I started reading the script, and I realized, I don't know, like maybe 5 pages in, oh my God, this play is loaded with prostitutes. It's like 2 scoops of whores. It's like a box of Raisin Bran for prostitutes. It's crazy. I'm going through it. I'm like, oh my God, this is, I don't know if I can ask my folks to come to see this. Like, this is just, that they're not going to get it. They're not going to like it. They're going to be offended. And I probably wasn't giving them enough credit, but then I was going through the script some more, and I came to the part where my character, McKeith, gets to make out with all the prostitutes. And I thought, oh my God, this is the greatest play ever written. Invite Grandma. Who gives a shit? When did rehearsal start? I'm ready.